So, Michael, good news. Good news. Morbius is returning to 1,000 theatres in the United States
I
of
saw
America.
this.
Yes, this weekend. That is what is happening. So by the time this comes out, we'll know whether it's been a success or not. This is due to a series of viral memes about the film. Who could forget, of course, the meme of Jared Leto standing next to the all-time box office gross with, $362 more billion next to Morbius's movie with its total gross. I mean, look, man, I think this is a message to the people who create these kind of movies, like Sony, for instance, who often create shit superhero movies. Make it so shit and such a meme and call it like Morbius.
Yes.
And have it release on April the 1st as well. And you will, this movie can have longevity if it's that bad. If it's so bad it can become a meme. That's what people have to aim for now. If you can't make a good movie, this is the other option. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you. Like, it's a good strategy. I suppose if I weren't so black-pilled, I would say that it's somewhat, it says a lot about society. I mean, I think we can all agree about that. But I am, to be fair, a bit of a hypocrite because I'm very much looking forward to reviewing Morbius at some point. So well, I guess I'm part of the problem.
Apparently, it's just really boring. Like, that's the thing. Like, it gets memed because it's just like a comic book from 20 years ago, and it's like, how could somebody or a group of people produce this much shit? And it's like got a funny name as well, Morbius. But
Morbius.
I actually have seen a tweet which says the Great Morbius re-release resulted in 85,000 Friday gross, less than Fantastic Beasts 3, despite being in nearly double the number of theatres. And of course, Fantastic Beasts 3 wasn't a massive runaway success at the box office, and it's doing, worse than that. So, maybe, it was just internet memes, and maybe actually the lesson here is that Sony are again stupid because they got tricked into thinking people would go to see this movie again,
That is actually, that is quite funny. That's like adds a layer to the meme.
Yeah, I know, it adds a great layer to the
Next,
meme.
we need to start like some kind of release the Snyder cut of Morbius. Like, just have Zack Snyder direct Morbius. I swear we'll watch it.
Well, you had Jared Leto, of course, like get the script as well, and it's like Morbius 2. It's Morbin time. Like everybody was, getting into it. Sony was like, yes, that video has got like millions of views on Twitter. Or people will definitely come to see this movie now, and nobody did. So yes, Sony they are the biggest meme company ever, and that keeps on going. So people said, oh, it wasn't going to be the summer of Morbius because that was the meme. It was like, I can't believe it's not going to be the summer of Morbius, jokingly after the movie bombed and it got bad reviews. But it really is turning into the summer of Morbius. Who could have predicted, Michael? Who could have predicted?
Which is ironic because Morbius being a vampire would actually not be able to go out much in the summer.
That's good, yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out in the near and distant past. We give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host, Michael, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Luke. And this week, we are celebrating the forthcoming release of Jurassic World Dominion by looking at Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And speaking of Fallen Kingdom, we happen to be reviewing this on the Jubilee weekend, and I can tell you that dinosaurs aren't the only thing that should be extinct. You know what else should be? The institution of the monarchy.
Yeah, another thing which is millions of years old, a lot older than us, which should be put to death immediately.
Yeah, I think we should let the monarchy get melted in a giant volcano.
Yes. Honestly, yes. That would be justice somewhat. But anyway...
It would make a more entertaining movie.
Yeah, it would. So, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Michael. Of course, we are reviewing it because of Jurassic World 3, which, of course... You did remember the name of the movie, of course.
Yes, I did.
Which was Dominion, yeah. So that's props to you, because I just think it's a very forgettable name, Dominion.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Revelations is the classic, bad sequel name. And that would have been, if it had said that, would have been fantastic. Like, Jurassic World, Revelations. You're like, oh, God.
Yeah, and also, Fallen Kingdom as well is quite generic and shit as well. So, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a 2018 American science fiction action film and the sequel to Jurassic World, also from 2015. Directed by J.A. Bayona. Bayona. He's Spanish, Michael. Did you know that?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Juan Antonio Garcia Bayona. Written by Derek Connolly and Colin Trevorrow.
Oh.
Colin Trevorrow. That's the man who you want writing your script.
Yeah.
Colin fucking Trevorrow. So it stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Rafe Spall. What a great name that is.
Rafe Spall.
Yeah, Rafe Joseph Spall. He's English, of course. Toby, and I bet he went to a private school, but I'm not even going to check because I already know. Toby Jones, Ted Levine, B.D. Wong, and Jeff Goldblum. The movie was released on June the 22nd, 2018 in the United States, so almost 4 years ago. This one, of course, is Dominion is releasing on June the 8th, a couple of weeks before. So, Michael, can you tell me what the budget is for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
That's an interesting one, because obviously, like, they would have been willing to spend a lot of money. Obviously, there's all sorts of effects. I mean, it's going to have been a lot. My brain is telling me the number in my head right now is 200 million.
Okay, is that your guess?
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Okay, it's a decent guess. Actually, not that much on the Wikipedia. It's 170 to 187.
Okay.
But obviously, with these big movies, it's either 200 or maybe stretching to 250, but never lower than 150. So yeah, around that range. But yeah, how much did it make at the box office, Michael? Do you remember how much the first one made?
I know the first one made over $1 billion. The first one... no, surely the first one didn't beat, because obviously The Force Awakens was out in the same year, so... But maybe it was the second highest grossing film of the year. And yeah, I mean, it was over $1 billion.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it was 1.5.
1.5 billion, yeah. So yeah, it obviously, if it wouldn't have been for
Actually,
Star
no,
Wars...
Avengers Age of Ultron also came out in 2015, so maybe it didn't beat that. But it would have been close or just a higher than them. But yeah, so what about this movie?
The box office. Well, I think this film... My brain is telling me this film wouldn't have made a huge amount, and that would possibly... Well, actually, okay, no, never mind. I was going to say that might be backed up by the fact that the sequel, they didn't exactly rush to get one out. It's obviously been 4 years. But obviously part of that could be COVID, so okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I think this film obviously made its money back. It maybe made, I'm kind of thinking in the 600 million range, but maybe more 600... That would be over 3 times its money back, which would not, that would be enough to justify the sequel. I'm thinking maybe 700 million, so I'm going to split the difference to say 650 million.
Oh, this is so funny. You're such a fucking idiot. You're such a fucking idiot. Box
I
office,
hope it didn't
1.3 billion
really?
Box office.
I'm not... I mean, I have to say, I would not have, so it got really close to the same as the original film.
Yeah, and you don't remember? You don't remember people being like, how can this movie make that much money at the box office, and just tears all over, fucking... I don't know, film Twitter, or just anybody who movies, the fact that this piece of shit grossed 1.3 billion.
I wasn't really on Twitter back in 2018. I kind of really got into Twitter more kind of recently, over the past few years.
Yeah, but you only focus on one topic as well.
Yeah, that is also true. Yeah. But the good news is that either way, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do see now I see more of this stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really see... The only discourse I saw from this was people talking about it being bad, but I don't really remember seeing people talking about it being bad within the context of it having made a lot of money. In a way, I kind of love the fact this film is bad, because obviously everybody likes M. Night Shyamalan because of the fact that his movies kept getting worse. And it was kind of a sadness with the fact of you knew eventually it was going to get to a point where he couldn't possibly make a worse film. And I do like the fact that the Jurassic Park films have got worse and worse with each film. Each film's been worse than the last film. And I'm happy that they managed to make this film worse than Jurassic World. And not just worse, but markedly worse, undeniably worse. And in
why do you like this?
Because I just like the neatness of it. And I do hope that the next film is going to be even worse, because it would just be that would be
so you
neat.
think the movies just keep getting worse, and this is something you've thought since the original Jurassic Park?
Yeah. I mean, so obviously when I was when the first 3 came out, I was a little kid who had no concept of quality. But
but you think 3 is worse than 2, and obviously
yes,
2 is worse than 1.
Yes, yeah. And I think 4 is worse than 3, which some people would say is a controversial opinion, but not me. Anyway, with that said, obviously I think this film was bad. I think it's the worst film in the series so far.
Oh yeah, obviously.
It's very, very dumb. But I'm quite happy about the fact it is worse, because I'm just yes, keep going. And I really do hope that Dominion is going to just be so terrible.
I don't think it's going to be worse.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of my issue with this. It's almost there's a bittersweetness to this film, because I don't think it can possibly get worse than this.
Yeah, I don't think it can. Genuinely, we'll see when Dominion comes out what they do. But it is clear that they are absolutely out of any good ideas. And this movie just is god-awful in a way which is... It's frustrating, because again, this movie made 1.3 billion, and you're just sat there watching like how did this get made? Like there was a group of like intelligence people who came up with a movie like this, and you consider, and it's extra frustrating because of how good the original Jurassic Park was, and just what I imagine, the mythical version of John Hammond, because of course, he created a theme park, but this mythical version of John Hammond who was like, oh, I'm going to, create, dinosaurs and life, and isn't it beautiful? We can celebrate nature and these magnificent creatures. And then going from that vision to the vision of the fucking Indoraptor, like, he would be, like spinning in his grave. And again, like, the fucking same thing with the incredible, first movie to this movie. It's like, I know Spielberg's still alive, but, like, he could, if he wasn't, actually, that's not true, and I'll get onto why that's not true later. But yeah, basically anybody who was a fan of the first one, who loved it, they would be, if they were still alive, or, well, if they were dead, they would be spinning in their grave. If they're still alive, they would be hating this like you and I do as well. And it's just, the Indoraptor perfectly mirrors the direction that things have gone with the overall state of the franchise. And indeed, you could say that, this movie could be art because of how bad it is. Because what did Ian Malcolm warn us in the first movie, Michael?
He said you were so concerned about whether or not you could that you didn't think about whether you should.
Yeah. Oh, we can make a Jurassic World sequel. We can do that, but should you? Yeah. No. And no, but seriously, the thing is,
he also has the line about like discovery is the rape of the natural world. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's a fair. You could probably change that slightly to describe this film. Like, sequels are the rape of good cinema.
Yeah, good cinema. Yeah, just scraping every little bit off this movie. All the Jurassic Park lore, I guess. And to create this. And I say another reason why it's up, because, what did Ian Malcolm say, like, in his Senate testimonial hearing at the start of this movie? It's like, things are just going to get worse. And this is the consequence of, like, what Dr. John Hammond did all those years ago. Or maybe he says that at the end, I can't remember. But basically, I was thinking, this could be viewed as artistic, like, because of how shitty things have gotten in this world with these dinosaurs, with the fucking Indoraptor at the end, and how bad these movies are. That was always going to be the case from creating the first movie, because you don't have anywhere to go. So it kind of mirrors how badly things have gotten for the dinosaurs, how far away they've strayed from John Hammond's vision or supposed vision in the first movie. It's the same thing in this. But anyway, Michael, let's get into nitpicks. How many do you have?
I only have, believe it or not, 2.
Yeah, I have 4, but one of them is a nitpick. So you go first.
Yeah, and actually, believe it or not, they're 2 really closely related to each other. Maybe it was just this one particular moment I decided to be skeptical. So yeah, my nitpick is just that and again, this is an example of where I didn't look it up because I'm sufficiently confident that this is nonsense, which is when she says that getting the blood type of getting the blood of any other carnivore would be close enough. And that just seems like complete nonsense because, like, people have blood types. It's like the idea that's like, oh, as long as it's like another carnivore, like a T-Rex's blood can go in a raptor, no problem. It's like, that's like saying, oh, as long as, just get a monkey's blood and put it in a person.
Literally, Mike, I was going to talk about that later, but yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. And then, I was going to say related to that also is the fact that, like, Owen didn't check for whether or not he had the blood when they obviously go to get a T-Rex and they're getting chased out, and then he's like to Claire, hey, did you get the blood? I hope you did. And it's like, hold on a minute, he was the last one out of there. I mean, I know he was worried about the T-Rex, but if he's so concerned about the blood, he should have got it himself. Why is he always making demands on Claire? So there we go.
Yeah, a good point. Okay, so my nitpicks, there's absolutely no security at this facility. The Lockwood Estate, this old Gothic mansion, this little girl can go wandering around everywhere, which, considering they know this little girl exists, and she's liable to do. I mean, it must be fucking school holidays. I don't know. Like she just doesn't go to school. Apparently, she just spends all day at this facility. So the U.S. president. So the U.S. president questions the existence of dinosaurs. They had that line on the BBC News while they were playing the montage at the beginning of the movie, or the news story. Of course, in a reference to Trump just being like dumb. Which is fine. I don't mind that.
Get fucked, Trump.
Because it's a nice little line, and you have to. I just caught it randomly. Like I didn't. I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch. But then there's a line from the fucking paramilitary guy later on in the movie where he says to the veterinarian, who, by the way, has never seen a dinosaur, he says about her, "What a nasty woman." Which, of course, did you remember that line, Michael?
Yes, yeah, such a nasty woman. That's what Trump said. Yes.
To
Hillary Clinton, yes. That's why, to be fair, that's why it got $1 billion, because it was owning Trump.
But the thing was, that first thing about, US president questions the existence of dinosaurs, again, a nice touch under the radar completely, that one is a more specific Trump reference. And that one, and it's just like, obviously the camera's focused on it, you can't miss it. And it just doesn't work, and it's so clearly a reference to Trump. But like, what has this got to do with Trump? Like, or Hillary Clinton, like that. It's just completely stupid, fucking line, and I just hated that so much. Like, God, you can have nice little references that, again, don't ruin the movie. That wasn't that. Well, I mean, ruin the movie. There wasn't much to ruin.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, so they decide to take all the dinosaurs back to this Californian mansion instead of to the nearby island of Isla Nubla. What's the island next to Isla Nubla?
Isla Sorna.
Isla Sorna, which of course doesn't have a volcanic eruption going on.
Yes.
So they could have done that, but no, they decided to make things a lot more difficult.
It's also very weird, by the way, because like the second film ends with a whole thing about Isla Sorna becoming a dinosaur wildlife preserve. And as I pointed out in, of course, my world-famous review of Jurassic World, they kind of just ignore the fact that Isla Sorna exists in these other films, in like all of the Jurassic World films. Because like in theory, based on the films that have come before, Isla Sorna is just chilling this whole time with like loads of dinosaurs on it.
Yeah, it got hit by a meteorite.
Yeah.
So when the assistant guy, the guy who, the evil guy, whatever he's called. Do you remember the evil guy's name, Michael?
Benton? I don't think that's right. It's like, I don't know, it's some weird, isn't it like a name that's like kind of like ends in ton or something?
You know what, it is Mills. It is Mills. I thought it was Mills. It's Eli Mills.
Okay, I was probably thinking like Milton, but yeah, Eli Mills.
No,
that is a
you
weird
weren't.
name.
Don't lie. But anyway, Mills. So the evil Mills guy picks up Lockwood's phone before he kills him, obviously. But his phone is just resting on a cushion. Do you remember that?
That is really dumb.
What the fuck? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't get why they did that. But yeah, in terms of the actual plot of the movie, like up until for the first 50 minutes, it's about rescuing the dinosaurs, and then it completely switches on a dime and becomes like a dinosaur auction movie. And yeah, it's really like disconnected, the two parts.
Yes, it's so funny. Like they did that. It's basically just two movies.
Yeah, and of course you have like the characters who are, in both parts of the movie. So, it's not completely different. But yeah, I'm just thinking back to like, what is the plot of this movie? How would you pitch this movie?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, just say, I don't know. Yeah, like literally, I feel like, I mean, I know Red Letter Media made this joke about Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where like they say like an intern was carrying like 5 different drafts for like 5 different potential story concepts, and then he tripped and like kind of scrambled them all together. That's literally how this film feels. It feels like they had like 2 ideas and then they just accidentally got smashed together, and they were just like, it's mental.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like the first part, some people may not like it, but I thought, it's fine to get the dinosaurs off the island. I guess that's a fun kind of concept in terms of saving them. But then the concept of, the dinosaur auction is just completely different. A completely different thing. And yeah, it does feel like kind of patched together. You can still make a good movie out of it, I guess, with the plot, even though it's like half and half, But yeah, it certainly makes it more difficult. Obviously I think what would be nice, they didn't have this part in, I just thought this would be nice, obviously the Lockwood estate, if there was some inference that they paid off the Senate hearing, or the senators in that hearing.
Yeah, that would be good, a bit of political intrigue.
Yeah, so the senators wouldn't do anything to save the dinosaurs, so they would then be able to do it, without the government overseeing.
Yeah, that's a good
them.
point, actually, because what if the senators had just been like, oh yeah, let's just let the government in, then it would have been screwed.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, what did the senators say? Oh, it's a private island. It's not for us to do something about. And I'm like, wait, that's not how the U.S. Senate works. The U.S. Senate caters to private interests. Literally, that's all they do. So therefore, if the U.S. Senate is doing that, then if somebody wanted to save the dinosaurs who was donating to them, that they would easily do it. But what about the opposite, like someone who is donating to them so they don't save the dinosaurs, so they can then of course get them themselves? But yeah, that wasn't in the movie, even though I thought that would be okay. The US Senate debates whether Isla Nublar's dinosaurs should be saved from an impending volcanic eruption. How does a volcano go from dormant to suddenly exploding, Michael? Within that weird. Shorter time period. Yeah, of course they built a whole fucking park here, so there was no sign of the volcano being, exploding. And then, I don't know, can it go in that quicker time to a full-on massive explosion?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's worth noting that kind of means that literally, even if the park hadn't been obviously the animals had got out and all of that stuff, I guess the implication is if it had just gone on for 4 years later anyway, or not even 3 years, the park would have exploded anyway because of the volcano. And yeah, it seems unlikely to me. I would, generally speaking, let's just assume that the science is wrong. Yeah, and that's just made up. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely I was just gonna say it's definitely dumb. And the implication of this, is that in order for them to have chosen this place to build a park, and literally 2 people did that, John Hammond and the other guy, you would have thought they would have done a lot of geological surveys to make sure the volcano wasn't going to go off, and yet apparently it just magically became active.
Yeah, again, but that's the thing. It's the only way we can get our main characters back on the island, because they need to save the dinosaurs. Also the volcano explodes. Well, it literally starts properly exploding as soon as they get onto the island as well. They're there, and that's when it starts exploding. Not an hour later. But anyway, Dr. Ian Malcolm testifies that the dinosaurs should perish naturally to correct the wrongful cloning done by John Hammond. Again, that's an interesting philosophical point. Is it explored beyond this? Not really, no. That's the thing. It is just a dumb monster movie. And that was included in the trailer, I think, for nostalgic reasons, to get people to come back. It's like, oh, Dr. Ian Malcolm's back,
Yeah.
That was important to a lot of people. But also because it was like, oh, okay, is this movie going to pose an interesting philosophical question on should we let the dinosaurs die or not? Is it right to, correct the mistake of John Hammond? And that question is paid attention. That's the only place where these kind of questions, are asked or considered. Just that scene with Ian Malcolm in that Senate hearing. That's it. Throughout the rest of the movie, no. And again, it's just it's so funny because the movie can obviously tell, the people writing it could tell, this would be a better movie if we included these points, but we're not going to. They made a conscious choice to kind of just give you a bit so they can put it in the trailer, and so they can be we're addressing these philosophical points, sure, whatever. And then they get straight back to it being a fucking monster movie. So yeah, what do you think of that, Michael?
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing, I agree with you, it introduces this kind of thematic idea, and I mean, obviously it's something which I guess kind of it picks up, it's almost like they introduce it right at the beginning, and then right at the end they kind of go background to it with the whole thing about being a clone and are clones worthy of being alive because they used to be extinct. So obviously, I mean, I guess when we get towards the end, we'll kind of talk about that specific angle. But yeah, it's definitely true that this film is not a deep thematic exploration of, I guess, the intrinsic value of animal life or anything like that. It's just I mean, it's almost they literally, I agree with you, they put it in there, I think, to make the film look smarter than it is.
And they know it would be smarter if they focus more on that, which makes what they did just that bit worse. But anyway,
I mean, I think it's kind of funny just because you think about how obviously it's almost like they're trying to copy the other films and
mimic
certainly
them.
Certainly the first 2 films had scenes of characters sat around engaging in dialogue where they were actually having basically philosophical discussions. And obviously you've already hinted at the or mentioned the kind of dinner scene where Ian Malcolm has this whole thing, but there it's actually done well and is incorporated. And I think that was oh well, we got to do that because they did that in the other film.
Yeah, it's incorporated within the movie. Yes, this is just again given we kind of, again, it'd be good for the trailer as well to get Dr. Ian Malcolm back. Let's not forget that he literally showed up for an hour for this movie. He's in this movie for 90 seconds. Took him an hour to come in and do those scenes, then go home to his house in LA. But anyway, so Claire Dearing has established the Dinosaur Protection Group to save the animals. After the Senate rules against after the Senate rules against rescuing the dinosaurs, Hammond's former partner, Sir Benjamin Lockwood, summons Claire to his Northern California estate. Lockwood and his aide Eli Mills reveal a plan to relocate the dinosaurs to a new island sanctuary. This, it's a good idea, but the thing is, Claire isn't very specific on which island, because maybe the island doesn't exist. I don't know. Because maybe I don't know. I just figure I'm just interested to know within this movie world, did this island actually exist or not? But anyway, this Claire woman, Michael.
Yes.
I don't remember a lot about her from the first movie, but I do remember that she called the dinosaurs assets, and the thing is, her character arc, from what I could remember from the first movie, was being more adventurous and so on, and not being such a suit. But she didn't start loving the animals. She didn't think of them differently. She didn't go from them thinking they were assets to, oh no, these are actually animals that we need to take care of and love. That wasn't her arc in the first movie.
Yeah, in fact, mostly when you think about it, she mostly spent all of her time getting killed by giant or attacked by giant monsters. So
yes. Yeah, so that's the thing. She's now part of this dinosaur protection group. She went from calling them assets to this. And of course, you can have character growth, you can have a character arc, but I don't remember a lot of that growth again in the first movie. And it just seems kind of, oh, really? It's a shock. This person is now has gone from very, very, very much thinking of the dinosaurs in business terms to, oh no, we need to save them. And it's a 180, and you haven't done the work to get to that point.
Yes.
And then we have the situation of her, trying to recruit Owen Grady.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Owen Grady, who seemed to, obviously had a relationship with the Velociraptor Blue, shouldn't he be the one trying to save the dinosaurs? Wouldn't that make more sense?
But yeah, they make it harder for basically they have the characters switch places.
Yeah, they switch personalities. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, maybe the movie didn't want him to do that, because that would be too cool for Owen Grady, being an activist or whatever. No, he's a man on his own, as Claire, as we see when Claire meets him. Oh, he's building his house on this patch of land. He's a lone ranger. He's not into that activist stuff. But again, it would just make his character a bit more interesting, a bit less one-dimensional. Anyway, Claire recruits Owen Grady. He's a Velociraptor trainer, of course, in the first movie to help get Blue, because they need to get Blue. And in that bar scene, you are reminded that these two just have absolutely no chemistry at all. And it's why do these movies feel so hollow and lifeless? It's because probably the two leads just feel they don't want to be in the same room together. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it just feels so what's a word for a lack of chemistry, Michael? Whatever that word is.
I was gonna say physics or something, because I was gonna be like it's not chemistry. It's what about alchemy? Because that's made up chemistry.
I guess so, but yeah, it seems so dry when they talk to each other. It's incredible. It really is incredible. But yeah, obviously the predictable thing of him not coming and then going with Claire happens, of course.
Yeah, last minute.
Yeah, and they are joined by their younger biracial colleagues as well. Very obvious why again, it's the movie was a bit too white the first time, even though, you did have some characters who weren't white. Well, we fixed that now with a Latina, half white, half Latina. I'm guessing that's her racial mix-up, because her last name is Rodriguez, and then half black, half white, nerd guy called Franklin. So we have fixed that. That's don't worry, guys. It's all okay. But yeah, I don't mind having characters who are mixed race, or even just different races to me, because of course I'm white. I don't.
You're
mind
so
that.
heroic, you don't. Mind.
I don't.
No,
mind
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it's just when it's so obvious, it's we need to put in two new characters. One of them, of course, she's a vet who has never seen a dinosaur before. I don't know why they included that fucking line. That seems to me to be a bit stupid, wouldn't you say?
No, yeah. It's works against what, and it's kind of weird, because you would think that lots of people worked at the park. It was a pretty big park, pretty big. So you would think they could throw together a group of people who, and also it's kind of a bit weird because they didn't really pick very adventurous people. When you think about the people they picked, none of them, obviously, for example, in Jurassic Park 2, which I hate to say it, but I need to bring up, because in many ways, this film literally just copies Jurassic Park 2 in that, like, I don't know if you remember the plot to Jurassic Park 2, but the plot is that John Hammond is in his mansion and he's worried that companies are going to start exploiting the dinosaurs. So he decides to send a crew to take pictures of the dinosaurs in their natural habitat to drum up support for a conservation initiative. So, like, obviously in this film it's more dumb because they're literally being taken to the conservation place themselves, but in this thing it's just like, well, just let them be there and take pictures of them. Anyway, so that's just the way it's very similar.
Yeah,
but,
so the Lost World, like, that was the vast majority of the movie, was capturing the dinosaurs. This, again, it's like split half and half, which is, of course, the issue with why this doesn't feel like a good movie.
Yeah. But the point is, in the second film, they send a wildlife photographer. No, sorry. But the point is, in the second film, they send somebody who's a wildlife photographer who works with, like, wild animals, which are like, oh, that's the kind of thing you'd want to send to somebody who's going to an island filled with dinosaurs. Somebody who's, like, worked with, like, dangerous wild animals before, not just some random vet.
So the dinosaurs, basically in this, Michael, a lot of the time are just used to scare the main characters when it makes no sense. This is what I'm going to talk about now. So Claire and the nerdy biracial guy Franklin are trapped in this control room. I don't know why that bit in the control room leads to the rest of the park, but apparently it does. And again, we have this scene similar to the first movie, but it happens more in this movie, where the dinosaurs just act like monsters who are just there to try and eat the main characters. So the Spinosaurus is confronted by lava. Instead of running away after getting its head burnt, like, oh, it's got its head burnt, there's fucking lava, it's very hot. You think maybe it would run in the opposite direction? No, it still tries to eat these humans. A literal wall of lava is in between them, but that doesn't stop it, does it? It's like that's its only goal in life, just to eat these humans, even if it means getting severely burnt.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And also, like, just the other thing about it is, like, they hit you, like, it's so artificial. They hit you really early on with, like, a whimsical scene, because obviously in Jurassic Park what I like to do is have a scene where, like, people are just in awe of, like, the majesty of dinosaurs. They've had it in basically every single film, but they have it, like, right away, and it's just, like, way too early, and also, like, just completely contradicts the way that dinosaurs are presented throughout the rest of the thing, and like the rest of the film. And it's just like, like, they just have, like, one scene where, like, oh, look, it's a brachiosaurus, isn't that awesome? And then suddenly it's just like everything else is just a mindless monster. And I definitely agree with you. It's like they don't seem like actual animals, and it makes it just feel like a dumb kind of horror movie almost, or like a dumb kind of like creature feature horror movie. And
that is a recurring theme in this movie. And I just found it so tiresome when the Spinosaurus was yapping at the foot of the biracial guy like 5 times. You could do it twice maximum, for God's sake. And him slowly turning around instead of just, like, racing up the stairs as well. And before Bryce Dallas Howard, she said when it entered the room, well, at least it's not a T-Rex. Even though you have not established this Marvel banter in serious moments in this franchise or in this movie, this is a movie with a serious tone. Plus that, even I don't like those kind of, like, lines anyway in movies. So it's just that scene was frustrating for a number of reasons, but it happens again with, of course, the dinosaurs, scaring the main characters when it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's the scene of them all running down the hill, of course, escaping the lava, which I think is fine. I think it's good. I like how all the dinosaurs are running past them and they have to avoid them. That's a cool action scene. However, then this Allosaurus, I want to say, seems like that would be it. I don't know.
No, I know what it is actually. I think it's a Carnotaurus.
You know what? I thought it might have been that, because I remember there's one. I thought the Allosaurus and the other one, which is the beginning with C, but I couldn't remember the name.
Yes,
so,
I actually I know it because it has horns. And Carnotaurus, you might think, well, Michael, why isn't it Carnosaurus? But Taurus means bull. And it looks like a bull because it has horns.
Yes. But when this Carnotaurus approaches them, these dinosaurs have been running for their lives to escape this volcanic eruption. But this Carnotaurus just can't resist a bit of human flesh, I guess, before it gets destroyed by a massive lava rock falling down the mountain. Just because it's a predator doesn't mean it doesn't have survival instincts and is so attracted to the humans. But then it does something even dumber than go after the humans. Then it goes after a fucking Triceratops instead. Even something which could really severely injure it. Again, it's presumably, like all the other dinosaurs, been running away from this massive lava, flow or whatever. But why is it doing it, Michael? Why is it doing it?
Yeah, I guess because it's like a just an evil monster. I mean, again, I hate to reference Jurassic Park 2 again, but there's the famous line from Peter Postlethwaite. My point is, animals don't hunt when they're not hungry.
Yeah.
To which what's the name of the guy who's
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn replies, "No, only humans do that."
Yeah. No,
but yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah,
that is a great line. And that is true. Literally, someone should play that line to these Jurassic World writers over and over again before they go to sleep at night. Dinosaurs only hunt when they are hungry. Which we'll get onto later, of course.
Like, I feel like these people must, like when you see like kind of wildlife things, and you often see like lions just like hanging around with like zebras or whatever, and like it's fine because the lions are presumably like not hungry. And like I feel like if you showed the Jurassic World people that, they'd be like so confused. They'd be like, why aren't the lions just constantly chasing and trying to kill the zebras all the time?
Yeah, I know. Then of course the pied de resistance of this scene. Out of nowhere, a T-Rex comes back just to kill the Cartosaurus, so we can have a dramatic moment of it doing that, instead of it escaping, which of course it would do. Like, why does it do that? Like, why does it kill this other dinosaur? Like, and also, this is my biggest gripe with this scene. How did it sneak up on them? We know how loud T-Rex's footsteps are. That's been established throughout the Jurassic Park franchise. It's a classic, I guess, moment. When you hear, its footsteps, it's very loud. You can't miss them. You can't jump scare with a fucking T-Rex. You can't do that. Yeah. It doesn't work. And again, him roaring afterwards, that's just for the trailer or the posters, which of course I remember seeing in the trailer.
Yes, I remember that.
But it's so bad. Like, it's so obvious you're treating these dinosaurs like monsters, and it's so obvious with these jump scares. Because what other type of movie do you get jump scares in, Michael?
In horror films.
In horror movies, and who's doing the jump scares, like monsters or ghosts or whatever. So you're literally treating the dinosaurs like monsters, and I guess you can have jump scares if the dinosaur isn't big, but if that's what you still think is acceptable when it's a fucking T-Rex, then it's just like, nah, you've completely lost any. This movie is so dumb, so stupid. It's lost any sense of reality, and I say that when it's about a movie about fucking dinosaurs coming back to life. Like, you have to suspend your disbelief. Of course you do. Like, the most popular movies of all time are stupid and have a lot of crazy stuff in which doesn't make sense, but you suspend your disbelief. This, you can't do it. Making a fucking T-Rex do a jump scare. Oh my Christ.
Yeah. Also, actually, on the subject of the treatment of the dinosaurs, I have to bring up the thing which always irritates me, which is like the Jurassic Park franchise, I guess more generally, but like certainly more recently, has seemed to not be able to make up their mind as to whether or not these things are actually dinosaurs. And you don't really, surprisingly, you don't get a line about this in this film, but in the previous film, you get a line where like Dr. Wu is basically like, these things aren't really dinosaurs, they're just genetically engineered freaks, which is obviously true. But then like in this film, it's kind of like everyone's like, oh, these are actual dinosaurs. And it's like dinosaurs used to be extinct and now they're back. And it's like, it just personally irritates me that the movie can't make up its mind. But definitely the genetically engineered freaks thing makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're genetically engineered freaks, of course. But, like if they're built to be the best replica of what dinosaurs were, then I think it's fair to call them dinosaurs. I don't really care too much about that, but anyway, Owen survives, of course, being consumed by this volcanic ash cloud because he was a Navy SEAL, Michael, so that means he can do that.
By the way, I would like to say we've jumped over, unless I was not paying attention, but I don't think I will. We've jumped over the initial reveal of the double cross.
No, we'll talk about that in a bit. Just finishing with this action scene because all of them fall into the sea with the other dinosaurs tumbling after them too, and I think I like that. That's cool. You can have another action scene with them escaping the glass ball, the gyrosphere, which I think that's a nice action scene.
Yeah, I do have an issue of like it not being bulletproof. Again, this is an example where I'm not sure, but like obviously,
why would it be bulletproof?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so this is the thing. I don't really know how bulletproof works, but like
I imagine you have to have pretty fucking strong glass.
Well, I know the thing is, I know that the glass is like designed, and also you do see it in like the Jurassic World film, like withstanding being hit by like some dinosaurs, and like I feel like it's probably designed to keep people safe from like dinosaurs kind of smashing into it.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between that and bulletproof.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So
okay,
I'm sorry, it's a nonsense complaint. Put it as a nitpick if you like, pal. But anyway, so they get to the boat. And I think it'd be so much better instead of having an action scene with them racing against time, using the car to jump onto the boat at the last second. If they try to sneak onto the boat and evade the guards, perhaps.
I was thinking that too. Yeah,
you have so many action scenes back to back. It's so tiresome and uninspired. It really is. I thought that's definitely what they're going to do. Slows the pace down a bit, and allows. Oh, we've had a bit of action. Now we're going to have a bit of tension with them sneaking around. But no, this movie is just so again uninspired is the word. So we'll get on to, of course, the double cross now, Michael. The double cross. These people didn't actually want to save the dinosaurs. They wanted to capture them. I put in my notes. Wow, who could have seen that one coming?
Yeah,
just in the Lost World, right? Isn't that what happens? In the Lost World?
Exactly. Yes, it's literally like again they did steal it, and I mean well, okay. First of all, like the pacing with like them being revealed as traitors is like insane. Like I had heard that they basically spent like half the time on the island and half the time like at home or whatever. And I don't know, like for some reason I just was not expecting them being on the island to go so fast. They're literally there for like such a short amount of time. And you get that reveal. Like they don't build up to it at all. It's literally just like they get there. Okay, let's go looking for the dinosaur. They find the dinosaur, and then just immediately it's a double cross. And I'm like, I don't know. Just like the pacing for that. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah,
it was, and I agree with you. Also, it's like it was incredibly predictable.
Yeah, I know it was definitely. But yeah, there are no interesting questions about dinosaurs existing in this movie, like we've already said, Michael. There are no philosophical questions or anything like that. These are the bad guys who have stolen the dinosaurs, and our heroes want to rescue them. That's the movie. There is a line later about how John Hammond wanting to play God caused this. So yeah, maybe like I said, kind of before, when we talk about how good this movie, maybe we're just living in this world. Like these Jurassic Park movies have to be shit because
it's all Steven Spielberg's fault.
Yeah, they have to be shit because literally this is all you can do with these dinosaurs, create these shitty movies because they have these horrible things happening to the dinosaurs and therefore have horrible movies. Even though it's not necessarily a connection, but it does mirror it artistically. Because of what John Hammond did all those years ago, and also Spielberg. Do you want to hear the story about how this movie was conceived, Michael?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I found this interesting looking at the writing. The film is also based on concepts from Michael Crichton's novel Jurassic Park and its sequel, The Lost World. Isn't that interesting, Michael? Do you think that would be the case? No, obviously.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, obviously, I guess it's very indirectly based on concepts.
Yeah, again, I just found that funny in Wikipedia when, as you say, it's a lot has been taken. It's not really based on concepts, more concepts have been taken, really, from particularly The Lost World. So, the script structure, Trevorrow said, was inspired by Spielberg's 2015 film The Bridge of Spies.
That is very weird.
In which two seemingly unrelated stories collide in the middle and move on together. Well, they don't really collide in the middle. Because
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Because the thing is, those two stories don't collide in the middle because it's just you go from one place to another. It's not like that's that. I wouldn't say that's it's like Bridge of Spies at all. That analogy I don't think works either. So Trevorrow was inspired by the 1975 film 3 Days of the Condor as well. So there you go. So this is what I wanted to mention, Michael. The film includes ideas previously featured in a rejected 2004 draft for Jurassic Park 4, later Jurassic World, presented in the same structure. A return to Isla Nublar followed by a second half set in a large Gothic building on the mainland. The idea of selling weaponized dinosaurs was also in the rejected draft, which Trevorrow had read while writing the first Jurassic World film. So, we have things that were in the rejected draft from a hypothetical Jurassic World 4 or Jurassic Park 4 being included in this movie. Now, when I said they were out of ideas, Michael, I think this supports this theory very well. They are taking ideas from drafts that were rejected, probably because somebody read them and thought, "Oh no, this is shit," But I guess, hey, the first movie made $1.5 billion. Okay, so now these ideas, which seemed shit, which were rejected, now, well, I guess they'll have to do because we got a lot of money to make. So that has to be the case. And by the way, the idea of weaponized dinosaurs came from Spielberg as well.
Oh no, Spielberg! How could you? Yeah. I always I reminded myself of the quote that I found from Colin Trevorrow in the behind the scenes for Jurassic World, where he said literally, this is not the exact quote, but basically, I think about what scene would be cool and don't really worry about how I get there. Like, I swear that's literally basically his quote. It's something like as dumb as that. Like, he's like, I think of a cool idea and I don't really worry about how I get there.
Yeah.
Which is like, but yeah, I feel like that's definitely him. And yeah, that's interesting.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He didn't really think of these cool ideas. They were just given to him.
Yeah, he stole. Yeah, actually, so he's just lying on everything.
Yeah, actually, there was a bit before which said he presented a script to Universal, and they were like, actually, this is too much stuff. They said it was too big for just one movie. So yeah, like his initial script was so bad that they had to go into the rejected script pile to get a movie.
That's actually that's really embarrassing for him.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's crazy that they're just like that. You know, you can't just go back to your reject ideas.
Well, that's what they did again. But that's the thing. Like, where I mean, people say famously, Red Light Media has said that about Star Wars. It's like, what do you do with Star Wars? You have to have a rebellion and an empire. Well, what do you do with Jurassic Park? Like, you have the fucking theme park and it goes wrong. Like, what else do you do with these dinosaurs? Like, I guess having in Dominion, it's a new idea to have them actually on the American mainland. But I don't know how you create a movie about that, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's worth noting that, of course, in The Lost World, they have the famous scene where they bring a T-Rex back, and it runs them off in San Diego.
That's just for, like, 20 minutes, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I have to say, like, is a much better employment, because, once, I don't know, it just becomes ridiculous, like, once it's just, like, they're there for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, the problem is now, like, I get the impression with Dominion, their plan is basically to run with this idea of, like, dinosaurs on the mainland. And yeah, at that point, you wonder where they can go with this, especially considering, as like we've already said, the dinosaurs in this film series don't fuck around when it comes to eating people.
Oh yeah, that's going to just be it constantly. Like, you're just going to have, like, in each major city, like, there's going to be, like, a T-Rex or a Velociraptor on the loose, and they're going to eat people, and that's going to be it. And somehow the main characters will be in all these different cities for some reason. Yeah, it really is a one-trick pony, and maybe you can do a second trick with bringing, like, how the Lost World did, bring the dinosaurs to the mainland. But apart from that, no, you got
it's got limited limited scope.
Yes, indeed. Because the thing is, I think of what could be what it could be something that could be similar to this is the Planet of the Apes movies, because you got, like, the animals taking over kind of thing. But of course, the Planet of the Apes are, like, smart. That's the point of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah, like, you're not going to get Planet of the Dinosaurs because they're all fucking dumb as shit. Like,
Although I will say, do you remember? You won't. But no, one time I threw out an idea for a Jurassic Park 4, which was that basically because in the first film they reveal that they actually brought back to life certain plants too, certain Jurassic plants. My plot was going to be that a pharmaceutical company wanted to move in there to try and, like, see whether or not, like, to basically scout for plants to see if they could, like, come up with some medicinal properties for stuff like that. And it was going to be a highly topical lampooning of the medical industrial complex. Okay.
Oh yeah, not a lot to do with dinosaurs though, maybe. That which
they get there and there were no dinosaurs there.
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, so the auctioneer is not interested in selling dinosaurs, Michael. This auctioneer guy. I can't remember the actor's name. He's small. He's British.
Tony Benn. Tony Benn, is that right? Or did I said it with confidence. Toby. Is it Toby? Tony?
I think it's Toby. Yeah.
Toby Newton. Toby small.
Toby
British.
Jones.
Toby Jones. Yes.
Toby Jones.
If you Google Toby small British actor, Toby Jones comes up.
There you go. Toby Jones, he's this auctioneer, and he's not interested in selling the dinosaurs since they're not there yet, which is very dumb, because these aren't fucking paintings, they're fucking dinosaurs. Like, there's not a supply of dinosaurs anywhere else in the world, you know? It
is ridiculous how impatient he is.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you're selling dinosaurs, man. Calm down. And, of course, we have an excuse, for the selling guy, then to go on a massive exposition dump about what they're doing at the estate, because otherwise, if this guy wasn't interested or this guy was threatening to leave, then we won't get this exposition dump. So again, it's just so poorly written. But
I just thought of a great line. He should have said, at some point, somebody should have said, we've waited 65 million years for this. We can wait another day, because it's like dinosaurs.
That's great. So he's selling the dinosaurs to fund, or the estate is, genetic research and turn animals and dinosaurs into weapons to try and convince, to the guy to sell dinosaurs to his clients. That's what he says to him. Even though, of course, what they plan to do with the money is not really of any concern to the auctioneer whatsoever. So yeah, it's like again he's still focused on the fact, oh, we don't, the dinosaurs aren't here yet. It doesn't really address his concern. Oh no, this is what we're going to do with this money. But whatever, I guess this movie ain't written too well. But so another issue is, Michael, they spoil the plot so early. Again, like the plot's not great. Again, it's kind of a stupid idea. But we why did we find out right away that the Lockwood estate is planning to sell these dinosaurs? Surely it would have been a better reveal if we find out later on, when our heroes have to try and sneak into the estate to see what they are doing to the dinosaurs. Like, it's so early on that, in this, like, there's no drama in this scene. I guess it's for the little girl to find out, but she can find out later on. Or she can find out and just not reveal, reveal it to the audience. She can have a conversation with her grandpa, and it can cut away before she tells them. So we can keep the intrigue up, the mystery up. Oh, what are they doing with these dinosaurs? And yeah, it's just, they just blurt it out. Like the fucking Mills guy. Yeah, they're selling the dinosaurs and turning them into weapons. Again, just the mystery and the intrigue. It feels like it's sucked out too soon, and it doesn't need to be sucked out too soon. What do you think?
No, yeah, I agree. There's no, basically you do just get a massive exposition dump. And word on the street is that that's kind of a dumb way of getting your plot across.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It's too early.
Imagine the dramatic moment when, the dinosaurs are lowered into, the auction room, and then the fucking...
Oh, yeah, that would have been good,
and Toby Jones is like, we're here for a dinosaur auction, or some line like that. And it's like, that's what all these rich people are here for.
And then there's like a musical cue, and then it cuts to a different scene. It's like, we're here for a dinosaur auction, duh!
Yeah.
And it cuts to Chris Pratt kind of running around we gotta get in there. What's happening?
yeah, something like that. And then him and fucking Claire see it, and they're like, oh my god, they're selling the dinosaurs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, are we at this point able to talk about the fact that selling dinosaurs as weapons is obviously kind of dumb?
Well, we'll get into that right now, because it's just the same as the last movie, Michael. I mean, yes. In terms of they're out of ideas, they copied stuff from the Lost World. Instead of kind of the same thing. In terms of getting these dinosaurs out of this island and bringing them back to the American mainland, they copy that concept, but they also copy things from the last movie again because they're so out of ideas. The military want to try and make the dinosaurs into weapons, which, again, it's stupid. Like, guns are obviously better. Humans have, there's a line about, humans have used animals in war for ages, but, that was before good technology existed. You don't need animals anymore in warfare. And again, it's just, what did the military guy want to do in the last movie, Michael?
He wanted to, it was basically the same thing.
Yeah.
He wanted, the raptors to be trained.
He wondered if the raptors could be used in the US military,
Yeah, and they literally added in. They literally kind of tease the Indoraptor thing. At the end of the film, the bad guy is like, "Look, it's the Indoraptor. We're going to use it." And then obviously, they basically they'd already set up this whole Indoraptor thing from the previous film, it's obviously even then it's done. But the question is the thing is, so the guy in the last film, it kind of it was he was, I think, wanting to work with the government, the military, rather than it being this underground, kind of black deal thing. Black deal is that term? But
black
basically,
market.
That's it. Black market. That's what I meant to say. But the thing is, with it being a black market, that makes even less sense, because at least it's still very dumb, but a nation state would have kind of the infrastructure that I guess they could at least move dinosaurs around, and I guess they could it's very dumb.
I'm fine with that, because the nation state is basically the same thing as the weapons dealers.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, because I don't know, I'm not sure who was buying these dinosaurs, but in my head I was imagining it was like mobsters, or I don't know.
Well, some of them are mobsters. That's the point. You get a whole cast of characters. You get mobsters, people who just want them as pets.
And I'm just imagining. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Yeah, people. Yeah, because that's the thing. Basically, this is something where it doesn't have any real practical purpose, but I can understand the idea of people using it to be flashy.
Yeah.
You can imagine a mobster hey, I got my T-Rex here.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm fine with the private military weapons contractors fucking buying these dinosaurs if they turned out to be useful as weapons. But of course, they're not useful as weapons because guns are better.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need. Why do you need this fucking raptor or Indoraptor attacking your target? Just fucking get a fucking a fucking drone to do it instead, which has got a bomb on it. Like, you don't need that. And again, it's so dumb. Like, they thought about this for 2 seconds. They really did.
Yeah.
But obviously, there is another similarity to the last movie, of course, Michael, because there is a genetically modified dinosaur that is even scarier than the others. Last time it was the Indominus Rex. This time it's the Indoraptor. They are so out of ideas.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's also hammered home by the fact that the Indominus Rex was famously partially raptor anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like,
what's this? This is even more raptor? Like,
yeah.
It's so dumb. Like, they should have had one movie, again, like we said this in the last review, where the park works, and in the sequel the dinosaurs then escape the park. And I know in the first one you could have, maybe a couple of dinosaurs get loose and they have to, get them back or whatever. But yeah, like, it's so clear that they're running on empty. They really are. And yeah, the fact that they brought back that idea, the genetically modified dinosaur from the first movie, that was the big thing. That was the big selling point of the first movie. Oh, we got a genetically modified dinosaur. They literally just did the same thing in the next movie.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I really can't. But anyway, let's get into the science stuff. I just want to talk about this for a bit, Michael. So Claire and Owen, of course, help Zia the vet transfuse Blue with Tyrannosaurus blood to save her life. And I put why? Because it is a carnivore, and you obviously already answered this question. That's dumb, and that is dumb. I thought that at the time. I was like, what? How the fuck does that? Like, they're two different species. Like, just because they're carnivores, that's maybe the dumbest thing in the movie. That's gone under the radar.
Pigs are omnivores, so I guess that means that we can just swap our blood with pigs.
The Indoraptor, this, of course, it's this dinosaur which has been weaponized by Dr. Henry Wu using Indominus Rex and Velociraptor DNA. But here's the thing: Wu needs Blue's DNA to create an enhanced Indoraptor that is obedient to commands. Unaware that Blue's blood is no longer pure, unaware that Blue's blood is no longer pure. Of course, we don't actually see the consequence of that, because there's just a line from the vet which is like, oh yeah, no, he's got Tyrannosaurus blood in, and you think there's going to be a come up when they. Well, I thought because of that, he was saying we need Blue's blood, and of course Blue's blood is then part Tyrannosaurus, which is of course bullshit. We're going to have a situation where Dr. Henry, what's he called? Dr. Henry Wu, yeah. Dr. Henry Wu creates this new Indoraptor, but oh no, it's got Blue's. They're doing tests with it, but they realize, oh no, it's not responding to what we want. It's not obedient to what humans command. But we don't get that. There's no payoff for that. So that was great. So the whole reason why Blue got to the facility was for that reason. And Blue doesn't even need to be in this movie then. That Velociraptor, if you think about it.
No, yeah. It's all pointless because
it's all pointless. But yeah, another issue I have with the whole science of this situation, Michael, is the blood surely doesn't make you observe commands like your brain does. Blue didn't listen to Owen Grady, and then her blood changed, right?
No, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, I'm being dumb, I don't know, but I suspect, given how this movie has operated so far, the answer is no, I'm not being dumb. And indeed, it is a case, and this is important, by the way, because obviously the whole reason why Owen and Claire went to the island was for them to get Blue. But again, it just seems so dumb that, oh yeah, we need Blue's DNA because Blue is what's the word, Michael?
Subservient,
that's it. Subservient to Owen because of training. So you could do the same with the fucking, if it's part of Velociraptor.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if anything, the person they really need is Owen. Yeah. And they don't even need him to go to the island. They just need him to train the dinosaurs.
Yeah, they just need him to train the Indoraptor. Or copy his teachings. Like, because if that Indoraptor is part of Velociraptor, then you can just do with it what Owen Grady did with Blue. It doesn't need to be that complicated. Like, Blue's blood isn't special. It's her brain which makes her listen to what Owen said. But yeah, it's so dumb.
I like how this implies, like, let's say you had a cat and you gave your cat the blood of a dog. Suddenly, your cat would then you'd be able to like get your cat to fetch and like
and they're both omnivores, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh god. But anyway, Owen and Claire, of course, are apprehended. I don't know how they get apprehended. They just get found out. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But obviously, Owen incites a Stygimoloch. What?
Oh, is that the dinosaur with the bony head?
Off Wikipedia, yeah, Stygimoloch.
Oh, Oh, I thought it was called a Pachyosaurus, but maybe
Wow,
I've
you
changed
racist.
I know, it has to be more Stigimalot.
Found outside Islamabad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, it breaks open their cell, which I think is a fine scene. I'm fine with that. But yeah, the two encounter Macy, obviously the grandchild of the guy who gets murdered, Lockwood, and they learn the Indoraptor is being sold despite Wu's process that it's a prototype. And this is so dumb.
Very dumb, yes.
The Indoraptor, like we said, it's a prototype, meaning that it could fuck up and ruin the reputation of this Lockwood estate. Like, what if, it goes on a massive killing spree, kills innocent citizens? Things are going to work its way back to this fucking auction, And that's the last thing you want. So, like, it's not finished yet. Plus, Wong makes a good point, or BD Wong, the actor, saying, if they give the Indoraptor away, then other companies could clone it, We're giving away, like, our research, and it's so dumb why they do this, Michael. It's so dumb, because I was thinking, why in the first place are they showing the audience the Indoraptor anyway? Because I was confused at the time. It's like, wait, BD Wong hasn't used Blue's blood, like we said before. It's like Blue is useless in this movie. He hasn't used Blue's blood, so why are they selling this? And I was like, oh, they're just skipping those steps. They're skipping those steps in real life with the sale of this fucking Indoraptor, and they're skipping the steps in the plot as well. In the actual movie too. So yeah. But anyway, Michael, anything more to say on that?
No, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's very basically all of your criticisms are right, and it's just very dumb. I wish I could add anything to it, but yeah, it's just obviously dumb.
So anyway, let's get on to the paramilitary guy Wheatley. He then tranquilizes the Indoraptor to extract a tooth as a trophy. But of course, the Indoraptor has feigned unconsciousness and kills Wheatley, and Eversole, which is Toby Jones, and the others as it escapes. So Wheatley does this since he likes trophies, but I don't know. Again, it's just really bad writing, because it seems like with everything happening, would it not be the first? It wouldn't be the first thing on your mind, Michael.
Yeah.
Like, how about the money you wanted? I mean, that's why he charged into the room, because he wanted to make sure that he got paid. He was like, Mills, you better give me my money, because he saw everyone escaping, and he was like, oh shit, if this is the case, then, well, maybe things have gone wrong, and I just want to make sure I want my money. That's what I was thinking. Okay, that makes sense. And then he gets distracted by this Indoraptor and wants to take its tooth. Again.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it needs to be, like, this is not the last time, but, like, the intelligence here is just, like, not, like, that's insane. Like, in order for this to make sense, the Indoraptor would have to be able to know that, like, what this, like, basically the logic there is that it fakes being asleep. Like, basically what it knows, there's no way it could have actually known that. Like, even if you're, like, very intelligent, how would it even have any concept for what a tranquilizer is?
Well, maybe it has been tranquilized before.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay. Maybe, yeah, it just seems to me, I'm just like, oh, I don't know, but yeah, okay. You know what, while I'm at it, okay, I'm going to say this now just because it's very related. I do think that Blue being able to smell flammable gas and recognize that it would be flammable and run away based on that.
Maybe it can just smell the gas. Maybe,
maybe it just doesn't like the smell.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she doesn't know it's flammable. It's
she just smells the gas. It's like, oh, that doesn't smell good.
Okay,
that's fine. Yeah, because in my head I was thinking like, because it's like she like smells it, and then she like runs away.
No. What'd be great? She sees on the gas canister the word flammable, and then she perks her head. It's like, oh, gotta get off. Yeah, but no. I don't have a problem with it faking being asleep, because I can imagine animals could do that.
Yeah.
But like, surely, how is it not asleep? Because if it's it's not fucking magic. Like, if you're pumping like this dinosaur full of tranquilizer, how is it not falling asleep? Like, it's part of a Velociraptor, part Indominus Rex or whatever. But like, I don't recall. Did the Indominus Rex, could it, if it was tranquilized, would it be fine? I can't remember. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. You'd think like some amount of of tranquilizer would put anything to sleep.
Yeah, and it's not even a bit sleepy either. It's just fine. But yeah, again, these animals, the thing is, it tricks him, like, and then eats him. Like, these animals only exist to torment humans. That's what gets them out of bed in the morning. And with the Indoraptor, that is an understatement, because this thing, I mean, we talked about it before, like how this movie conceives of dinosaurs is they're monsters that want to eat the humans. That's their one goal. Again, like I said, that's what gets them out of bed in the morning. And the Indoraptor is the raptor or the dinosaur that is the most committed to that. Like the climax of this movie is just ridiculous. Like the Indoraptor isn't trying to escape away from this place out into the wild. Instead, because this franchise thinks that these animals should just be monsters. It chases Owen, Claire, and Macy through the mansion. And, again, the primary function of the animals in Jurassic World is just to scare humans. And then, sometimes you can feel sorry for them when they're in cages, but only after they are evil monsters, who must be killed,
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. This raptor is just evil. That's its personality. It's a big, scary thing, so therefore it's evil. It's like the dumbest, most childish way to fucking write this kind of dinosaur. Like, oh no, is it a misunderstood? Well, it's not misunderstood in the sense it still wants to eat people, but like, is it an actual threat, or is it just an animal who's just trying to live? No, it's not just an animal who just wants to live. It's an evil monster who's trying to kill this little girl. It's a killing machine meant to frighten the humans. Think about the magic of the first movie. Like you understand these creatures. Like oh yeah, they may be predators or whatever, but hey, they're just they're just trying to live their lives. They're just animals. You can't. I guess you can't be mad at them for that. I thought that was a central point. That's completely gone.
Yeah.
So many times they did this trope throughout the movie. Of these dinosaurs, these predators attacking the humans for no reason. It's the only thing the writers took from the first movie. The only thing they took from it. Oh, aren't those cool scenes when the Velociraptors chasing those kids around that kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Indoraptor is chasing Maisie, this little kid, like its life depended on it. It's charging through the stairs, through the doorways. It's like, I'm so determined to eat this little kid. That's the only thing I've ever wanted in my life. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of interesting because, obviously you mentioned that one of the ideas was dinosaurs in a gothic mansion.
Yeah.
And what's hilarious about that is what would you associate with a gothic mansion?
A gothic
horror
dinosaur.
Films. Well, no, I was gonna say it's like a horror. It's like such an almost stereotypical horror film cliche. You almost expect Dracula walking around. It's so they've literally just fully gone into the dinosaurs being horror creatures, and the bit where it kind of goes into her room and God. Sneaks in, it feels like basically
I couldn't believe
you could replace the dinosaur with Dracula and the film would be
I couldn't
not changed.
I couldn't believe what I was watching, seriously. I mean, I remember that from the trailer and I remember seeing it, but the thing was, well, the crazy thing is you've just seen this raptor charge through these hallways, attacking a vicious animal, and then it's slowly comes through the window. It is playing this horror character. How can it just switch on a dime like that? And it's just the most ridiculous thing ever. You compare that scene of the Indoraptor coming through the window to get Macy. You compare that to the first movie. It's just worlds apart. And that scene there it's. I mean, maybe people like it because it's so schlocky and bad, but I just hate that to my core.
Yes.
And obviously Blue, because Blue is the good dinosaur and the Indoraptor is the evil dinosaur. Blue wins and the evil dinosaur dies. That's literally it's an evil dinosaur.
Yeah.
So when it
also, it's dumb. I found it dumb how Blue saves the day twice. First of all,
Blue's
so
the good
basically
dinosaur, Michael.
Yeah, and I know, yeah, but so the dinosaur, so the Indoraptor's about to attack, and then Blue comes in, saves the day, and you're oh, cool. Blue, I mean, well, you're not like that because you don't actually care, but you recognize it, and then for some reason, then Blue disappears for a while, and then the Indoraptor comes back, and then Blue runs in again. It's okay, Blue, how many times are you going to show up here? It seems like you can, it seems like that's the triumphant kind of thing you'd only do once, but they just keep going back to it in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, think about why the Indoraptor is in this movie, Michael. The thing is, Macy, it isn't a target of the Indoraptor, and it's fed as well because it fucking ate that guy who was trying to take a tooth from it. Why is it in this movie? It's got no reason to go after Macy. It's just because the only thing these writers could think of our big climax is we need to get a really scary dinosaur to chase this kid and our main characters around this gothic mansion. That's our climax. That's the only thing that we've got going on. That's the only thing we can conceive of. So that's the climax. So there you go. And it's really shit, and it makes no sense. And yeah, it's bad. And yeah, see the thing is, this movie made $1.3 billion at the box office, of course, like we mentioned. But this is why that scene at the end is why I don't think people will come back, because it's I watched Dominion. I don't think it'll do well at the box office because it's people subconsciously will think, oh yeah, they're all out of ideas. It's just going to be the same thing of a dinosaur chasing people around and almost killing them. I don't know. I don't think there's any desire. I don't think there will be a desire. This is not going to gross a lot of money. I think Dominion.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, so again, it did come out 4 years ago, so maybe people have forgotten. But I mean, I'm not sure. But so Macy is of course revealed to be. So we're on to Macy now, by the way. Just to
Yes.
end. Macy has been revealed to be cloned from Lockwood's deceased daughter, and the reason why John Hammond ended their association, which is fine. But I don't know how the timelines match up because this girl is like 10. And that would mean, obviously, they probably separated like 30 years ago. So I don't understand.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
I don't understand the timeline. Again, they could explain it, but they don't. They don't bother. But yeah, a gas leak, of course, threatens the kid. And the human cloning thing, yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, like, I don't have a problem with that in general. I mean, we suggested, of course, in the last movie that the thing with the Indominus Rex should be part of its DNA as human.
Yeah, that would have been a better twist than it being a raptor, at least in terms of it being less kind of obvious, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. So a gas leak threatens the caged dinosaurs. Macy frees them, ignoring Owen's objections. So, were you fine with this, Michael?
Well, look, it's a weird thing. I feel like there was... I feel like it was trying to make a thematic point, or like, I don't know, thematic sounds too nice, or like too like, it feels like it was trying to make a point, because obviously, the woman literally, or the girl rather, literally says, they're clones like me, they should be allowed to live. So as for that point, that's one thing. In terms of like an actual thing to do though, I feel like it's obviously pretty dumb to basically doom humanity, because it does seem like that is, like, you can't act as if like this is a species that can just exist. And also the other thing about it, which I thought was dumb, is like, Claire, like if she's supposed to be an actual like environmentalist generally are like pretty open about the fact that sometimes you need to kill an animal or else it's going to destroy an ecosystem. Like that's why like lots of environmentalists are pretty pro.
Well, to be fair, she did
killing all the goats because they eat too much.
To be fair, she did then. She
was consistent. Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with the little girl, the thing is, people really thought it was stupid because it's like, oh, you're not, I remember a big backlash from this at the time, because it's like, wait, you're a human, these are dinosaurs. Like, the dinosaurs are going to go up and fuck shit up. You're not the same. But here's the thing, I disagree with that. I actually think it's a fine ending. It could have, I think, been executed better, than just her saying they're like me or whatever. But I get it. Like, she wants to save these animals' lives, like they're worth something, because I can understand why she would connect with them, because she wants to, because she obviously she values her own life, and it's like, oh well, we can't just let these animals die, because just because they're dinosaurs or they've been created in a lab. I get that. But yeah, again, it could have been, if it tied in, if there was a theme surrounding that, Michael, perhaps.
Yeah.
A theme about, is this actually life if it's been genetically created in a lab? If that was a constant theme running throughout the movie, then I think that would have landed better at the end. But of course it isn't. But,
yeah. Actually, that reminds me of something else I was kind of thinking in this film, which is like something this film kind of ignores is like the question of like whether or not kind of species being alive and not extinct is like intrinsically valuable, because
this maybe ignores a lot of questions.
I know, yeah, but like every single time like a character talks about like how it's bad that the dinosaurs might go extinct, like they relate it to, well, I say like every single time. The main scene is like Claire talking about, she's like, well, wouldn't you want your children to grow up in a world where like dinosaurs are still extinct? Oh, sorry, where dinosaurs are no longer extinct? And it's like, I thought that was kind of like funny, because it's basically implying that the reason why dinosaurs should be alive in Claire's view is not because like, a species going extinct is bad in and of itself, but rather because like it's cool for human beings that these like dinosaurs are alive. But the thing is, like, if
but maybe
she
was just trying to convince the Congresswoman.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But I was gonna say, yeah, if it was the case that like like there's no intrinsic, the whole thing's very weird in terms of like the idea of like wanting to keep dinosaurs alive when they're literally only alive for like because of the fact they were cloned.
Yeah, I know. That might be an interesting question, but again, this movie doesn't address it. Yeah, but obviously,
yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think it was like super dumb, the ending. Like, I think like, and admittedly, if like there's so much super dumb stuff in this film anyway. But yeah, the ending certainly is not
I agree. Yeah.
dumb in the grand scheme of this film.
Yeah, I agree, I guess. But yeah, some people were like, no, it's stupid, it's fucking dumb. But no, I do understand it. Maybe because I've been watching too much Star Trek, and I'm like, I understand like a lot of big theme in the Next Generation is like, every life is valuable. One person doesn't have more value than another, or sentient being, of course, because they deal with aliens. Like all life has to be respected and all of that. But anyway, yeah, and of course, what is very important, she releases these dinosaurs. You have now an excuse for a sequel, and you have a great setup for this sequel. Again, something that can draw audiences in. The dinosaurs are in America, but again, I don't actually know what they would do with it, which is why I'm very interested. Well, not to see Dominion, I guess, to see what it's about. You get a sequel, but of course, before we end, we have another T-Rex jump scare. Just beautiful. Again, because you see this guy, he's the bad guy Mills. He's collecting his like Indoraptor bone, and you see, it was the Indominus Rex bone that they collected at the start of the movie. Because he can still use this and create other dinosaurs. To get BD Wong back, and so it's not over for him. But of course, then you see I think it was a T-Rex in the background. I'm not sure, and I thought, oh, that's going to be it. The T-Rex is going to slowly walk towards him, and he's not going to realize. But then the T-Rex comes like almost in front of him and eats him. Like, how did he not see that? And like, how did he not hear it? It's just so dumb. T-Rex jump scares, probably the dumbest thing in this movie. Actually, there's so many contenders.
Yes.
So many contenders.
Yeah.
I don't want to make such a bold claim, but yeah. And then, of course, Dr. Ian Malcolm, at the end of the movie, he says, we're going to have to live with the dinosaurs, we're into a new era, Jurassic World, and maybe they're going to replace us. And we don't know what we've started. All of that, stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, there's like 50 of them. And a crucial aspect of dinosaurs is they're rather big. I think they'll be easy to catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they'll be easy to get.
Yeah, like I think in reality, you would just be able to deal with it.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to deal with it very easily. Yeah. But again, I'm interested to see what the Dominion does, if it answers any of these questions or whatever, or just sticks to a more like confined story rather than focusing on the big picture. But anyway, let's conclude. Michael, you go first.
Yes, this film is not very good. It's very dumb. I think the main issue with it, well, I guess there's two main issues, or maybe three. One, all the characters are boring. There's no like good character writing or good dialogue or anything like that, or any scenes where you feel like you get to know the characters. Two, the pacing is just so off. Like, just it feels like the end of the film basically lasts for an hour. And yeah, that's just weird. Like, it just doesn't even barely feel like a Jurassic Park film, because they don't even spend that much time like on an island with dinosaurs, which is kind of, it's a good formula. And sure, I guess it's a formula that's limited and only really works for like one or two films rather than six. But yeah, like, stick with it. And then three, it just tonally and kind of like, I guess like the feeling of the film and like the feeling of the dinosaurs is so kind of in opposition to how things are set up in like the first film and things like that. And yeah, it becomes like a dumb monster movie. And yeah, having said that, it's not even like a particularly good monster movie. Like you don't even get to see any cool violent deaths. Like at this point, they should just like throw in the towel. Stop trying.
There's a lack of violence in the deaths. Really, the guy gets his arm chopped off. That's it. Yeah. What's your rating?
Stop trying to make fun fantasy action adventure films and just commit to like violent horror films. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this film a low 2.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10 as well. That's what I've already put down. And yeah, obviously this movie, it's dumb. A lot of aspects are just really dumb. The plot, again, it's stitched together two different things. And yeah, again, part 1 is copied from The Lost World. Part 2 is like stupid as well. But again, my biggest issue is the way they deal with the dinosaurs. The complete lack of magic there was in the first movie. Just the dinosaurs or predators, are all killing machines that only exist to get the humans. And again, it's just like one of the most, I guess, basic level. That's the only thing people, I guess, took from the first movie. Like, you forget all the other stuff around it. No, what's the main thing? It's like, oh, these dinosaurs are scary. Let's just put that in all these movies and forget what the movies were actually about in the first place, or the first one was about in the first place. And yeah, this franchise is just like dead. But well, I mean, let's see what happens with Dominion. But yeah, 2 out of 10. Really awful movie. This truly was. But let's predict whether Dominion will be an awful movie. Michael.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you don't sound too confident there.
Yeah, I'm just I'm not sure about my answer, but I'm just gonna go for it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, 72.
63.
Okay, 72 for me, 62 for you. Yeah.
Actually, I said 63.
Oh, 63, sorry.
Sorry that you can't listen.
Yeah. Again, I think with this movie, I think that's around what the original Jurassic World got. Because that's the thing, I don't think it can get as bad as this one. So I think it'll be one of those movies which, again, is frustrating. Like how we reviewed or how we thought of Jurassic World, like it's really bad. Well, it's not really bad, like it's quite bad. But, they won't go as bad as this one. I don't think it's possible. And yeah, they'll end up around 70 or, like you said, 60%. So yeah, that's what we're saying. But yeah, Michael, what are we reviewing next week?
Next week, we're reviewing Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
And I believe that's because it's the 20-year anniversary.
Indeed, it is the 20-year anniversary of Star Wars Attack of the Clones, and we're doing it now, of course, because of the ongoing Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series.
Oh, yes, of course, that makes sense too,
Yes, so join us for that next week. Anyway, we've been selecting and reflecting on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Truly a god-awful movie. Join us next week for another sequel, which was, of course, a sequel that was made a part of a film series which was made like 15 years after the original series.
Yeah, and also actually the next film we're doing is kind of in terms of production order the fifth film, just like this one.
Just like that. So join us next week for that. Who've you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye.